You're probably wondering why there's an orange bag here. And you're probably thinking, did I actually click on the right video, the right review, or is this just clickbait? No, you're right, you did click on the right review, as this is how I received my click and collect order for the Marvel Legends Deadpool and Wolverine Wave 2 figures of Cowboy Pool and brownsuit Wolverine. So, before you see these guys out of this click and collect packaging, you gotta wonder, what did I pay for these? You're probably thinking standard price, $27.99 USD, or 40 to 45 AUD, or 30 euros. No, I paid $26 AUD. I was lucky enough to find these guys on a sale on one of my online retailers, and got some really good member benefits. So, as you'll be able to read here on this intro page for the Marvel Legends Cowboy Pool and brownsuit Wolverine, all the prices converted into euros, pounds, and USD. So let's check out the packaging right now. Let's just jump into it. And Cowboy Pool and Deadpool, you have sort of these fake sticker, fake tape side logos on the front of the box with Cowboy Pool, Wolverine brown suit, sort of the MCU Deadpool Wolverine logo, Hasbro 14+. Well, that's a first. It's usually 4+ or something. Marvel Legends series. You can see what's in the box from the front. On the side, and on both sides, that is, we have sort of these renders of brownsuit Wolverine and Cowboy Pool. And on the back, we have their specific bios for each character in a variety of languages, along with the rest of the characters from this wave being battle-damaged Wolverine in his classic blue and yellow attire. We have Wesley Snipes' Blade. We have Daphne Keane, Laura Kinney X-23. And we have Cassandra Nova. And of course we have Brownsuit Logan and Cowboy Pool. So on the bottom again as well, it's just legalese. And the boxes are really nice, and especially the interior, as you're going to see in a moment. As you get this plastic shell out that stores all the accessory pieces, I just wanted to pull out the actual backing card, which I really like. It definitely reminds me of Wave 1. I can't remember what the Wave 1 figures for Deadpool and Wolverine's backing card look like, but it was very similar to this, where you had this goofy artwork, much like what you see in the credits of all 3 Deadpool films. Okay, and for a quick size comparison, because I like to do a comparison generally with the boxes, for some figures that are on the channel from Marvel Legends, we have Secret Wars Wave 2, Absorbing Man, Constrictor, and Daredevil. We have classic 70s or 90s Johnny Blaze Ghost Rider, along with Spider-Man 2026 Blister Card Wave Cardiac, and we have Deluxe Incredible Hulk Wave Abomination, which is essentially reissued Gamerverse Abomination. Alright, let's have a look at the figures now, and we're going to start with Cowboy Pool. He looks amazing. He's definitely my favorite of the two, and I can now say I have a Matthew McConaughey in my collection. But I love the look, I love the detail in the face and the hat, that just black hat with sort of the wrinkled lines through it. I love all the little overlay pieces. He has the bandana, which is removable if you don't want to have the bandana on there. He has sort of this belt/holster system, which has painted gold bullets. However, the one problem that I don't like about it is that the bullets aren't painted to the end, right? You see them on the front, and then to the halfway mark, until you get to about halfway on the shoulder to the back half, it's not painted bullets, which is a bit of a shame, and they've done this with a variety of figures before. I do not own the previous MCU Deadpools. I don't have any of them. So this is my first experience with an MCU Deadpool. So I'm saying that basically everything except the arms are new. So I think the arms are reused from previous Deadpools, but I'm okay with that. He just looks really good overall. The sculpt is quite nice. It's brand new parts. He definitely looks like a cowboy. He's a bit baggy in the torso. I kind of would have liked him a bit slimmer, but again, he was a little baggy in the film as well. He essentially has 3 overlay pieces. He has the bandana scarf, this brown overlay across the torso with all the bullets, and he has a really nicely painted and looking holster system for his pistols. And I love the silver for the Deadpool logo. It's really nice, and the guns fit in there really tightly. They are reuse guns, and you'll see that in accessories shortly. But I even love the pants. The look of the pants is really nice. This is something that I had a complaint with last year's 2025 Phantom Rider, which was that he didn't come with spurs on his feet. He just came with reused boots. And this figure has the spurs, and I really love the details in them, just all the little intricate details all across, which you kind of can see in certain lightings on camera. But I wish that the Phantom Rider had these boots. I do love the differentiation. There's actually lighter beige toned paint on the bottom of the feet, whereas the pants sculpt overall is maroon. What I also love about this figure is, because it's a Deadpool variant, I'm just going to stick it in my comic figures display. I love the look of this, and Deadpool figures are a bit of a rarity in terms of just variations, such as Cowboypool, so you can slowly build out a Deadpool core, and I don't see them doing a comic-style Cowboypool in a long time. I don't see Hasbro doing that. And speaking of figures, he is going to stand in at 6.45 inches from what I was able to measure off camera. So he'll fit in really well with MCU or comic Hasbro Marvel Legends. Now let's jump to brownsuit Wolverine. And I have seen so much hype over this guy. I don't know why. I do really like the head sculpt. It reminds me definitely of blue and yellow Wave 1 Wolverine. This is mostly new parts. So what's going to be reused here is essentially the hands. And that's literally just the hands. Everything else is brand new. However, it seems to be okay. I'm not exactly a fan of it. And it's because of the floating pieces, the floating filler pieces that they've tried to use to cover up the fact that they didn't sculpt the body properly. So instead of butterfly joints, which I would have preferred, they've gone with these floating filler pieces. And especially on my copy, they're a bit loose. So every time you move the arm, they shift as well. So you lose that detailed pattern because they've only painted them on one side compared to the rest of the figure. But I do like the yellow choice. But then you see the knee pads, and it's actually a darker, more golden yellow compared to the body itself, which is kind of annoying. I do love that sculpted belt. It's just a fixed piece to the body itself, so it's not going to be floating anywhere, which is really nice. Because a lot of Marvel Legends figures who come with belts, separate belt pieces, they seem to either wear away from just posing around, or better yet, they just get in the way of articulation points. So it kind of looks a bit ugly. So I like that they've actually sculpted it in to this lower torso. I do really like the bare arms, and especially that if you are a customizer, you could just probably grab a few of these Wolverines and use one of them for some sort of custom where you can just paint the brown blue. I do also like the boots. Now, it's a shame that they didn't include boot cuts. That was also a flaw of the Wave 1 Wolverine in the blue and yellows. But in this case, I do like that they've kind of gone and paid a little bit of homage to classic Wolverine suits that have those flared out boot cuffs. And it runs to the front of the boot and a little bit at the back. It is really nice, the blacks and the browns. I love the texturing overall on this figure. It's really nice. The yellows, even the little details such as the pockets in the side of his pants where the thigh is. Really nice. This Wolverine, however, could be argued as a concept figure. Why? Because he has the cowled head, and Hasbro couldn't get the likeness rights for Hugh Jackman this year. So we never actually see him cowled up in the brown suit. And recently, in one of their last live streams, they announced that they're going to be doing concept figures based on Deadpool and Wolverine. So maybe we'll get a build-up of Deadpool core figures that are inspired by the comics. But overall, both these figures look really good together, and I'm happy to have them. But let's jump to accessories, because this is where we start to see a divide. Okay, so this is accessory time. And we're going to start with Cowboy Pool, as I think value for money, accessory-wise, he's actually a bit better. So we're going to start with these sort of fist/C grip hands, which are on a horizontal hinge. They're okay, I'm probably not going to use them though. We also get these different gestured open hands. Now, both of them can be used for this spinning pistol effect you're about to see shortly that plugs into generally the left hand. But the left hand is on a vertical hinge. The other open display hand is on a horizontal hinge. And he comes with two vertical trigger finger hands. I love about all these hands that they're actually really well detailed, well painted, perfect. Just the silvers, the blacks, no paint bleeding, really nice on my copy. And then of course we have the pistols, which are decently painted, at least just the handles, they're white. So we have this sort of gunmetal silver plastic being used for the guns themselves, which is really decent. And as you just saw, they fit into the holster quite well. Now it's time for Wolverine. The odd setup for Wolverine. So what do we get? We get a fist and a gesturing, pointing trigger finger hand, painted really well with the yellow and the brown sculpt and the silver for the knuckles, which is really nice. We also get the claws. Now, I've taken off the claws because I had them on Logan at this point in time. They are silver. They're kind of painted. I can't tell if it's silver plastic or if it's silver and painted. I'm not exactly sure. But on my copy of both hands, they're really weird. They seem to pop out. And it seems like they haven't sculpted enough plastic out of the knuckles themselves when they've plugged in the claws. So my claws always are a bit funny. Then it's on to the neck and the cowl. So the cowl piece is really nice. I really like that. It's really well detailed. You can slip that onto the neck itself. But yeah, we get a neck. We get the brown neck, which is for when he's cowled up. And for when he's not cowled, we get just a neck ball. And it could work with the actual head sculpt, the cowled head sculpt. But in this case, it's actually for if you have a previous Hugh Jackman head sculpt from Wave 1. Or maybe you have a previous Wolverine Hugh Jackman head sculpt from another Logan release. And you probably want to heat up the head first, just a little bit with some hot water. Because it is quite hard to get on, at least on my copy. But once you do get it on, it looks really good. But the cowl piece does tend to fall off. So if you're not really a stickler for detail and you don't kind of care about having the cowl in there, without the cowl, he still looks awesome. I forgot to mention Logan's height earlier. It's 6.5 inches, right on the 6.5 inch mark. And we're going to jump in articulation anyway. Logan's neck system is a neck plug-in ball joint along with a dumbbell joint. Now, in terms of the dumbbell joint of his head moving around, it's not great. He can look up and down, but that's with the help of the neck. The neck on the dumbbell is really good because he's able to look a whole bunch of ways, as you can see here. Arms are on a full 360 rotation, but as you can kind of see here when I'm adjusting, that filler piece completely moves, which is quite annoying when you have to then try and readjust it and change the posing. He has bicep cuts, double jointed arms, and both these hands options are on horizontal hinges. He does have a ball swivel diaphragm, upper diaphragm, which allows him to tilt side to side, forward and back, along with a waist cut, which is hidden pretty well by that sculpted belt. He doesn't really do the splits. He can't really kick back far. He can kick really decently forward. He has thigh cuts, double jointed knees, no boot cuts, decent foot forward and back movement, along with really solid ankle pivot. Cowboypool is the one that's going to be a little harder to maneuver just because of all these overlay pieces. So he does have a dumbbell joint. No special neck treatment like Logan, but he moves around really well forward and back. The hat does hinder a bit of his back movement. Forward is okay. His arms go a little above 90, which is really solid. There's no butterfly joints, but they are double jointed pinless, and they have a bicep cut really good. On here we have horizontal and vertical hinge hands, as you can see. The arm cuffs are a separate piece, so do keep that in mind. You don't want to lose them. Now, the ball forward and back, diaphragm ball forward and back, is decent. However, it is hindered by that overlay piece. He does have a waist cut. Again, that's going to be hindered by overlays. He can almost do the splits really well, actually. He looks pretty good. Forward and back, he's got a little bit of back, quite a bit of forward. Thigh cuts, really decent, but they do break up the sculpt. He can kick himself with his spurs, really nice double joint bend. No boot cuts, unfortunately, even though there is the sculpted boots. And he does have really good forward, decent back in his feet, and decent ankle pivot. For size comparisons, I'm just going to reiterate now. Cowboypool stands at 6.45 inches, and Logan stands at 6.5. So, we're going to start with these two of my favorite figures in my collection. And two characters who made cameos in Deadpool and Wolverine. Here we have the 80th anniversary Incredible Hulk and the mighty Thor. And in my final rating section of this review, I use this Hulk a lot. I love how he paired with the brown suit Wolverine. So keep that in mind if you don't care about scale or care about merging MCU and comic figures together. Next up, some mutant love. Here we have the 80th anniversary Colossus, because I don't own the 20th Century Fox version of Colossus. And we have, for a standard female Marvel Legends comparison as well, X Factor version 1 Jean Grey, aka Marvel Girl. They look great together, however, Hugh Jackman was always too tall to play Wolverine, however did a great job. And also, I just don't own the film version of Colossus. Okay, so for another Marvel Legends standard female body type, a larger male body type, and also because X-Men 97 is coming out. Here we have X-Men 97 Cable, Sharon Carter on the super articulated Black Widow body, and Champion of the Universe on the Caliban body. Okay, so for a major timeline villain, a Wolverine foe, and one of Marvel's big three. Here we have Secret Wars Wave 1 Captain America. We have Sauron Build-A-Figure Wave Omega Red. And we have the Joe Fixit Build-A-Figure Wave Kang the Conqueror. For some Deadpool love, I don't own many Deadpools. So here's what I have. I have the 80th anniversary Deadpool moped set. So that was Deadpool here, along with Dogpool and Squirrelpool, along with from the Sauron Build-A-Figure Wave, Lady Deadpool. I know there is that new box Build-A-Figure version. I'm not getting it. I already have her. And I'm super happy with what she offers. Along with Headpool. And you can kind of see here that Cowboypool fits in really well. So I don't think it matters that he has all those extra MCU details. He's going to fit in with your Deadpool figures, your Deadpool core. And that was the whole reason as to why I got him. Of course, we have to have an MCU comparison. So here we have Stealth Suit Spider-Man, aka the Night Monkey, from the fake Molten Man Build-A-Figure Wave. And we have from Marvel What If Wave 1, Zombie Captain America, which is possibly my favorite MCU figure in my collection. I mentioned him earlier, and I'm going to mention him again. Here we have the Phantom Rider. Is it Carter Slade? Is it Hamilton Slade? Is it Lincoln Slade? But it's not Jamie Slade because Jamie's a woman. And I'm going to jump to the feet straight away in this. Look. Just look. Right, he's a cowboy. He's the first Ghost Rider. Why did he not come with spurs? That's something that would have boosted the rating of this Phantom Rider on the Vulcan body. Would have been the spurs. Just a unique detail. And made this more of a Western character. Second last comparison. This is the mixed line comparison. Here we have from Star Wars, Black Series, Hasbro's other line, we have Greg the Carbonized Stormtrooper. We also have in the back Mattel's DC Multiverse, Kyle Rayner Green Lantern. We have McFarlane's DC Multiverse Collector Edition, Captain Carrot. We have the Blockies Elmo front and center, along with the Jada Toys Scooby-Doo, Where Are You, Scooby-Doo, Creeper. Still my favorite Jada Toys figure. Finally, the comparison I wanted to make this entire time, and it's whether this Wolverine is the best Wolverine. Now, I have here my only other brown suit Wolverine, the CT Toys Marfex bootleg. We also have the blue and yellow Wave 1 Deadpool and Wolverine suit, which is the iconic suit of the film, and we have the X-Men 97 Wolverine. As you can kind of tell on camera, even though the lighting is going to be a bit different, the yellows are different on both figures. The knee pads on the brown suit actually match the color scheme of the blue and yellow MCU figure. If you did want to do a head swap with the cowled brown suit and the blue and yellow suit, you easily could. It looks really solid. And the reason I had the Wolverine Logan Hugh Jackman head sculpt was from this blue and yellow figure. And since I had the X-Men 97 out, I wanted to try this little dumb thing. And it was actually putting the X-Men 97 head, this uncowled Logan head sculpt, which is arguably Hasbro's best comic or just in general Logan head sculpt on this body. And it surprisingly looks amazing. He looks badass. I don't understand how he looks so good. Now, the tones are different. Definitely Logan's head has got a different bit of a tan look. but it looks really good overall. And yeah, I think not really many people's going to do that. No one's really going to do that. You're going to just chuck a Hugh Jackman head sculpt on there. If you have Wave 1 Wolverine, you're going to have that head. If you don't, and you just have another Logan, another Hugh Jackman Wolverine, you're just going to use that head. So if I was to make modifications to this figure to actually make it an actually really good Wolverine figure, because it's decent, right? I don't know why so many people are saying it's amazing. It's decent. I would change out the claws for sure. I would definitely go with these sort of CT toy style claws, where they're a bit more flared out, a bit bulkier, and they've got the nice painted silver details. On top of that, I would change out this stupid filler piece system for something like this CT Toys Wolverine, where you have this ball plug arm that you can just stick into a butterfly joint, which is an extra piece articulated from the body itself. And I'm going to bring in this new Batman Adventures / Batman the Animated Series Season 4 Joker, even though it's inspired by the animated show, and of course, it's its own sculpt. You can kind of see what I mean with the articulation style, where you make the butterfly joint itself on another ball, and then you plug in the arms on the ball. It may loosen over time, but I think that would be a far better system to get greater articulation and not have this floating piece problem as we do. Another thing might be about both Wolverines is, if you only really want one, if you're still able to get the blue and yellow, which one should you go for? Now, I personally still really like the blue and yellow. Now, the articulation systems are different, but the articulation points are almost the same. Now, brownsuit easily wins in the neck movement. Easily. But what I do like about the blue and yellow is the fact about the filler pieces, that they're just the black. So there's no sort of way to screw up the design, because the actual arm isn't getting caught on the filler piece like you are with the brown suit. The brown suit with the bare arms, you could easily then customize as well to give to this blue and yellow suit if you don't want to buy the battle damaged version. And I also think that in terms of the ab crunch movement, even though the blue and yellow is on an ab crunch, it actually looks far better forward and back. This is certainly a preference thing. I mean, even with the claws, they're very similar. You kind of have two different styles of paint or silver plastic used to bring out the look of the claws. But overall, they both look great. I still think the blue and yellow is better. So what are my final thoughts on the MCU Deadpool and Wolverine film Wave 2 figures of Cowboy Pool and Brownsuit Wolverine by Marvel Legends Hasbro? And it may surprise you, I really love the Cowboy Pool. Cowboy Deadpool is awesome. I just think he's so unique. He's going to add so much character to your Deadpool collection. And if you sleep on him, don't. He's really nice. Maybe he's missing a few articulation points that he should have had, like butterflies or maybe boot cuts. Boot cuts in particular, I don't mind not having butterflies. He has a really nice bend anyway. Instead of paying 40 to 45 AUD for this guy, I paid $26.50 with some reward systems I'm part of. And the accessory wise and the offering for this dude is so much better than the Wolverine. And even that sort of spinning pistol effect could even work with other characters like the Phantom Rider, or if they do other cowboy associated figures down the line, or better yet, if you want to chuck them with maybe your DC Jonah Hex. Plus, we're also building out the Deadpool core, which I really love. I'm slowly building them out, and I'm hoping for more. I'm hoping to get that Wolverine pool soon. I loved taking photos with Cowboy Pool as well. Very simple, but they look menacing and striking. My photos don't do this figure justice, but I do think I did a decent job in capturing his look. He looks amazing. And for my final rating, I'm going to give this guy an 8 out of 10. I think he offers so much. He's brand new sculpt apart from the arms. He comes with a decent array of accessories, all even sets of hands technically. I love the head sculpt. I love the look of him overall. He's really well painted, except on that overlay piece with the bullets. He's not there. But everywhere else, he's really well painted. And I definitely think that a lot of people could skip this guy, but he is certainly a sleeper hit to this wave. But then you go to Brownsuit Wolverine, you go to Logan here, and do you think he is a hit? I don't know, I think he's actually a little disappointing. The accessory-wise is okay. right? I find it funny that he came with a neck. This was the joke of the figure itself was, oh, instead of a head, he's going to come with a neck. And a lot of people were joking about that. Why a neck? And again, it's because of likeness rights. They couldn't get the likeness rights for Hugh Jackman most likely this year. But the accessories are almost the exact same as the previous blue and yellow Wolverine, just with the interchangeable hands and the head. So that's kind of it. You don't really get much in terms of this Wolverine. And though I got him for the same price, $26.50 AUD, he still delivers. He's really solid as a figure, but I still think that the blue and yellow articulation-wise may not be superior, but actually delivers and is able to give better articulation, better points of motion, range of motion, than this brown suit, unfortunately. I do love the hidden details, such as the flared-out boots. Now, a problem with the previous Wolverine as well was he didn't have boot articulation. He needed that. He has a decent cowled head sculpt, which is interchangeable with the previous Wolverine. And even if you decide to get the other Wolverine from this wave, they're interchangeable. It's just a little bit of a color difference in the yellows. He looks great posed with MCU figures and comic figures, especially the Hulk, and also Zombie Captain America. Again, he's mainly a concept figure, but he still looks good overall. If you're a diehard Wolverine fan, he's a must-have. But in terms of my final score, I possibly could have skipped him, because the photos and the promo art looked much better than what I actually received, unfortunately. So for my final score of this guy, I'm still going to give him a solid 7.5 out of 10. He's missing points of articulation, such as the boots and proper butterfly joints, that really limit this guy. However, if you don't really know articulation, if it's more just for the sculpt, that look of having some kind of MCU brownsuit Wolverine in your collection, perfectly fine. Perfectly a good release. The textured details are so nice on this guy. Just those faint little details that make the figure pop either way. And look, the neck thing is a bit strange, but I totally understand where Hasbro is coming from. At least it's another accessory for the price point. So these final two scores, 8.5 out of 10 and 7.5 out of 10, it rounds out to about 8 out of 10 average, which is still really solid for both these figures. If you want to pair these two together, they look awesome. If you want to pair Deadpool with Deadpool, or Wolverine with Wolverine, or maybe just mix it up and have a miscellaneous amount of figures together, then they're going to look perfectly fine. Both lack articulation, yet aesthetic look amazing, and design-wise, perfectly represent the Deadpool and Wolverine film. So, these were my final ratings on the Brownsuit Wolverine and Cowboy Deadpool Cowboypool from the MCU Marvel Legends Hasbro Deadpool and Wolverine Wave 2. So, what do you guys think about this wave? Sound off the comments below. Did you like these guys? Who would you get? Sound off below. If you like this review, please give it a like. Please share it to anyone who's interested or kind of thinking about getting Cowboy Pool or Brownsuit Wolverine here. Liking, subscribing really helps the channel. If you do subscribe, I am a slowly growing channel, so I really need the help. No memberships, none of that stuff. Just honest action figure reviews with no subscriptions, no partnerships tied to it. These are going to be added to the Marvel Legends playlist along with the Marvel figure playlist that you can check out. I don't have many reviews, but maybe there's something there that will entice you to possibly get another action figure for your collection. This is SFIGUREREVIEWS. Thank you so much for watching, and this has been the Marvel Legends Deadpool and Wolverine Wave 2 Cowboy Pool and Brown Suit Wolverine review.